We are here to rock your world. Join me for Pleiadian Pick Me Up, a power up for your heart and soul, where we'll team up with the Pleiadians to tackle things that are bringing us down and things that could be better in our lives. This is Pleiadian Pick Me Up. Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome to another Pleiadian Pick Me Up. Get myself all situated here with microphones and wires and all sorts of stuff. I am outdoors on this beautiful Sunday morning of 12/12 is when I'm recording this. The 12/12 gateway. Make sure my microphone is securely attached. You may hear a tiny, I keep saying, maybe I already said that, a tiny bit of wind. Hopefully the filters will take care of that. So I've come outside. I want to welcome you all here before I jump into anything. All my new family members. Let me see this. I want to look at something. On January 3rd, you released your first episode of the year, Soulmates and Karmic Partners. So I'm looking at your show made new friends. So we have streams now in 5 new countries: Canada, Australia, Brazil, Germany, and Belgium. So those are new friends in those spaces and places listening to our podcast, listening to our show. So let's welcome in our friends from those faraway places. And I think that's all I wanted to share. And then I released 3,545 minutes of content across 99 episodes this year on the podcast. So I want to thank all of you who join and show up and listen and subscribe. I think you can only subscribe on, I guess you can follow the podcast in different places, but like if you follow on some sort of podcast provider, like we don't know how many of you are actually out there. I don't think there's any way to really tell without going to each one, and I'm not going to do that. But if you subscribe over on YouTube, because we're over there too, then I want to thank you so much for that. So excited to have you here. Today I thought warranted a Pleiadian pick-me-up, and so everyone that's joining, returning and new, let's get settled in and see what the Pleiadians want to share with us. A little bit of housekeeping, a little bit of getting us into sacred space before I just jump into stuff. I want to wrap us all in love light and light love. Inviting in the guides who overlight this show, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, the Pleiadians, and a cast of many more who come in and out as they see fit, as we need them. So the other day I recorded, and I have not put it up yet. It's probably going to go up in a couple of days. A general card reading plus pick a card. So it's all part of the same thing. It feels like it's for the full moon. And it has to do with big changes coming our way, which is should be no surprise to any of us. So we've been talking about that for a while. But it also had to do with kind of things that you're not seeing yet. Maybe things that are in your blind spot or things that you need to be aware of about these big changes coming your way and how you can more easily navigate whatever's coming. And as a teaser, kind of the overall reading there was, even though it's like a 555 moment or like tower moments coming your way, that none of them are surprises. So none of this stuff coming our way is any big surprise, although it could be, they said, seeds long planted maybe a while ago that are finally starting to germinate and take root and show up in the physical. But it could shake you, rock your world, because apparently they're not little things. So, and some of the groups were a little bit blocked, or some of us, for some of these manifestations, are a little bit blocked from kind of seeing what they are. And so, again, I'm recording this on the 12/12, and this is a gateway now until the solstice on the 21st of December. Although this whole thing is timeless, like it doesn't really matter when you listen to this. You can tap into the energy of when it's being recorded. You could be in some other gateway, and maybe this is the message you need to hear at that time that you stumble across this podcast, because it's just scrollable, and many people go back and listen to very old episodes, which is what I love about the podcast. I don't see that so much in YouTube. I feel like people in YouTube are more like, if it's not current, I don't really listen to it. Some people do, like they tell me they do, like, go back to your playlist and check, because I've got a lot of workshops and stuff in the podcast and over on YouTube, but they're only in playlists like on Spotify and YouTube. So some people do go back to older stuff, and YouTube will sometimes, show up older stuff up, but I don't know, I just feel like the audience is different. Where I feel like this is a podcast, like me personally, like I go back and I scroll through all the stuff and I just pick stuff out. So anyway, I don't know why that's important. But we did the Oracle reading with all of my decks, and Pleiadian Power Oracle is my newest one, just premiering this month. So when that reading comes out, if you want to play with that, I'm going to put it up on the podcast, because I feel like you guys can listen with your master ears. You don't necessarily have to always see the cards. So I put those up on the podcast because I think sometimes people are wondering, like, why do you have card readings up on a podcast? But it's because you can hear just as well as you can see. You have clear hearing and clear knowing and all that too. But if you want to see all that, then you can come join us over on YouTube for the YouTube family. Because I do sometimes put things up there that I don't do on a podcast. And then the last thing is I've added a new little mini service to my services. Everything I talk about on the show, all the links to all these things are always in the show notes of every podcast, every episode. Cards, links to the cards if you feel inclined that you want to buy a deck, or links to services, or links to links are all in the show notes. But I did add a little mini service. So if those of you are on more of like a little holiday budget, or you want to treat yourself for the holiday, we've got two specials. We've got our December special, which is Shamans Song, and I have added something new to all my longer services. The guides have me working more with something called protocols now, which is kind of some preventative measures that you can take on your spiritual journey that have to do with suggestions, almost like getting a doctor's prescription, but I'm not a doctor. I'm a, whatever you want to call me, shaman, medicine person, energy healer, whatever word you want to put to it. But this is something new that's coming with all the longer readings. So anything 45 minutes and over, that's more of like a full session, I'm adding some special stuff onto those. So Shaman Song is our special for December, if you want to check that out. And these protocols are coming by way of my book that's coming out next month, my first nonfiction, which is Eat Like a Lemurian. The Lemurians have brought in a whole bunch of healing protocols that will be coming up in that book for folks to work with on your spiritual journey and on your path to bring you more into a higher vibe and more into your true soul nature. So all that's coming up. And the other shorter service, if you're on a little bit more of a holiday budget, is I have added in a service for just card readings using my decks and maybe a few others. Those are a little short, like 30-minute services. I've got something to meet all your needs. And those are more just answering, questions you might have. There's no like healing, or typically no healing, although we never know who's going to pop into these things. So that's a lot going on. I know y'all sat through all of that. Now we can bring the Pleiadians. They're here already. They're already like speaking through me. Doesn't matter if you are listening to my voice talk about services or if you're listening to me talk about Pleiadians. You're already getting an energy pick me up just by nature of pressing the play button and tuning in. So I just had a bunch of vultures fly overhead, and vultures are all about clearing energy and cleaning. Is it a vulture? Yeah, it is. Yeah, oh gosh. Vultures usually also mean that somewhere, when there's multiples, it usually means somewhere around here. Wow, their wings look huge when they fly. Their shadow is so ginormous. It's like they're just clearing the space. Like they're clearing the energy of the spaces. Especially when their wings, the shadow of a vulture is just huge. It flies over. So energy is being cleared right now. It looks like we're bringing in the spirit animal of the vulture along with the Pleiadians to work with those of us here, to work with all of us here, to clear our energy as we're listening to the Pleiadians talk about whatever it is they want to talk about. They want to talk about blocks. And when you can't see your way forward, like, what can you do to pass the time? What can you do to pass the time? And so I'm just going to ask the guides to speak through me. Of course, they already are, but just for the benefit of all those listening, to know that the guides are speaking through me, channeling, I'm walking. I'm asking them to take me to see anything that I might need to see as I'm recording this, anything I might need to talk to you about as it pertains to what you can do when you can't see your way forward. And while you're waiting, for your manifestations. So one thing they had me do, I knew they were going to have me do this. So I brought a bag because I knew whenever I come out here, I like to pick up like trash. So they're like, be a good steward of your surroundings, which the vulture was already doing. And you should have seen me the other day. I had a big giant trash bag and I was walking along this busy street in my neighborhood. People just drive by and just throw out all sorts of stuff. So they had me picking up. So being a good steward of your surroundings. Earth angels, especially if you're connecting in with fairy energy, they always want you to clear the land. I do it for my own thing too. It just kind of makes me feel better. Like, I don't want to walk along on my little morning meditation walk and like stumble over a dirty diaper. Like, that's what I did the other day. So I was like, I pick kind of these things up. I'm not like, a crazy person about it, but I do like to do it. And it's also that's part of good earth karma. Karma back from the Gaia. Raising good energy. All right, guys. What else? Passing the time by being a good steward of our planet. What can you do to help out? Maybe you organize. So many times I've been in spaces and I'm like, oh, this place needs somebody to really organize like a community drive to pick up trash or improve this area. And it's like, oh my gosh, do I have time to do all that? Like, get all gung-ho about some of these things. But some of you are supposed to be doing stuff like that. One time too, I was living somewhere, like a temporary space, and I was like, this neighborhood is so like grumpy, but I know everybody is like pleasant, but everyone like sees each other and like turns and walks and goes into their own house and shuts the door. And I was like, I told the family members I was living with, I was like, oh my gosh, we should organize like a little street potluck, like a little community potluck. And how many of us would actually do this? This is the same. This goes back to this, you guys. This goes back to the last Pleiadian pick me up we did about being seen. Was it the one with John Candy where they were like, let yourself be seen, walk up to somebody and tell them you love them. And I was like, oh, that's a little out of my comfort zone. And then now they're saying community potluck, which I'm like, Well, do I have the energy to do that personally? Not by myself. If I had some help, I would totally, if I had some other community members, or if I had a partner, somebody who was interested in doing that, I would totally love to do something like that, like organize something like that. That would be so much fun. Just have like a little street thing. So there, I guess they're giving you guys ideas. What else do you guys want me to see? Dragon energy's coming in. My nose is very stuffy today. So the other thing we can do is don't forget to breathe. As my nose gets stuffy, I always get shallow breathing. And one of the cards I pulled this morning was a Pleiadian, from the deck, was a Pleiadian Pick Me Up card that said, Pleiadian Power Up. And then it says, take a deep breath. So I'll take a deep breath. And then the next 3 breaths are breathe in love and breathe out love. So let's breathe in love. And breathe out love. And breathe in love. And breathe out love. And breathe in love. And breathe out love. What does your heart want to do now? Tap it into your heart space. Some of these protocols from this Lemurian, Eat Like a Lemurian book are obviously slowing down. But I haven't even gotten to all of them yet, but a lot of it is just, spending more time with yourself in little bites, 5-10 minutes at a time. Going through some different exercises. And there's John Candy. I watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles again last night. I told my son, I'm like, I feel like watching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles again, even though it's not Thanksgiving, which is our Thanksgiving movie. And we were both kind of like, yeah, it's like a winter movie, because it's wintry too. So we watched the whole thing again, and we were kind of back to the, we were almost to the point where, you can kind of recite the movie along with the people in the movie. So we were kind of reciting the movie along with the, I want a bleeping car, right? Bleeping now. So happy, right? Comedy. And then my son was also like, Mom, we need to go do more holiday stuff. So I try to find stuff away from the crowds. I'm not talking about the malls. I don't like to go there unless I absolutely have to. It's super crowded around me. There's a big outlet mall. But we have a little small historic towns all around, and they offer a lot of little fun holiday things. So right away I can see that the Pleiadians are trying to get our mind off of our stuff that we're manifesting. Can you trust that it's going to show up? And can you just go about your everyday life, but throw in some zingers? Wow, throw in some zingers. What's a zinger? They're saying throw in some zingers, something to zing and bling and brighten up your day. Oh my gosh, yes, I don't know, they're showing me this and I have to go listen to it. Music, right? Obviously music. It's so obvious, right? But this morning, let me tell you, because all of y'all think that spirit is not have their little spirity fingers in everything we do. I think everyone, I think people think Spirit doesn't control my YouTube algorithm and my feed and my followers and my listeners, and Spirit's not controlling my music playlist, or I don't know, it just feels seeing the divine in everything. So this morning this song was on my playlist, and it's a song that just keeps coming up a lot on I have YouTube music. And I like it, and I was singing it, and I was it's kind of getting too earworm, and it's a part of the song that's probably not a good part of the song to sing, but it's Rose Royce and I Want to Get Next to You. I want to get next to you. But the part of the song that keeps earworming is like, money is low and I can't take you to the fancy places that you want to go. And that just keeps playing. I'm like, oh, that's probably not good for me to keep putting that into my subconscious, like money is low. Like, right? Why does that keep playing? So as that part starts coming up in the song this morning, as I've in the car with the dog, all of a sudden the volume like totally cuts out, and it's like it's playing because I can see on my screen in the car that the song is playing, but there's no sound. And I was like, and then I tried, turn the sound up, turn the sound down, pause, nothing. And then finally I'm like, oh, screw it. I'm just going to go to, because I have Sirius satellite in the car. And right away this song comes on. I was like, amazing vocals. It was, I love the movie Grease. And it was the Broadway. It was this channel on Sirius satellite called like On Broadway or whatever. And they were doing Beauty School Dropout, but it wasn't the Frankie Avalon like version from the movie. It was this 1994 version of Grease with this person. Like, I haven't totally looked at all of it, but I don't know who Billy Porter is. But let me tell you, listen to that song. Oh my Lord, the vocals. I mean, this is a person that's truly like, oh, you just have to listen to it. It's Beauty School Dropout. Just look up Billy Porter 1994 or something, and Beauty School Dropout. And I guess there's a whole album because I pulled it up today. But right then and there, I was like, oh my God, it's so much more high vibe than Money is Low, and I can't take you to fancy places you want to go. It was so good. Like me and the dog, I mean, it was just so good. So like surrounding yourself with like as high vibe as you can. And so right there, I was like, oh, Spirit's like, can you please stop reaffirming money is low? I can't take you to the places you want to go. Like, we're already working to clear and help clients clear, poverty consciousness and lack and all that. And it's like, I want to bring those things back in by repeating song lyrics that, are bringing in an energy of lackfulness. So they like muted that guy and put this other one on for me. It was so good. I was like, oh, I'm so glad I did that. Now I went and looked up and found the whole album, and then it led to like this dream of like, oh my God, I would love to go see like Grease on Broadway, and just maybe it doesn't even play there anymore. I have no idea, but I love like going to plays, like musicals. Like when I was in high school, I was like the wallflower who wanted to be the one in all the plays and musicals, but that back then I was like, forget it. I was definitely not. I was the wallflower. I was really like this Darcy, like deer in the headlights, kind of like, what am I doing on this planet? Especially in high school. So, but I would go to all the musicals. I would go to like almost every show, every year that the senior class or whatever did like a play, or they did like Oklahoma, and I don't know what else. I can't remember all the other ones. But man, I would go to all the shows and I would like sing, and I would like cry and all that in the audience. It was just so good. So this dream came up like, oh my God, I want to go to a Broadway musical or something. That would be so fun. And I haven't been to New York since I was like a little kid. So anyway, like see where your mind or your dreams can take you when you're just kind of stream of consciousness. Because right away that song came on, I was like, oh my gosh, if I had, like Master Co, he says, oh my gosh, if I had just been there in person and seen that performance of that song live, that would be so much fun. So, oh my God, let me see. Oh my God, 23 minutes. Let's see if there's anything else. So these Pleiadian pick me ups are meant to be shorter. They're meant to like raise your vibe. They're meant to get you thinking, get you out of like stuck patterns, clear your energy. So let me just do one more cursory little move about here, and then we'll see if there's anything else these kids want to share with us. And as that earworm song is still there, now I gotta clear it out. I like that song though. See, singing. I'm singing. What is it, Elf? I'm singing. The sweetest bed Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. Singing's fun. Smiling's my favorite. I'm singing. I'm in a store and I'm singing. That's another one of my. I love Elf. I have to watch that every year. So, like, times of the year too, like, bring up, all these little, like, fun things, and I try to be open to like new stuff. So, like, my son and I are like, Mom, we have to watch this movie and this movie and this movie, and I'm like, I watched a new one that I hadn't seen, so to be open to new stuff. And I watched was it Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell, and it was so good. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And Goldie Hawn, I love Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. Now they are a power couple. And that movie was really, like, I think I smiled through like the whole entire movie. I was like, this movie's so good. So finding new things too, like not getting stuck in repeating patterns and opening up to new possibilities. All right, friends. Well, I've given you some holiday ideas, I guess. I don't know. Go listen to that Grease song. I'm telling you. It's like 8 minutes long or something. But this Billy Porter person, Billy Porter, I don't know who he is. Never mind. I'm not even going to guess. Oh my God, these trees are so beautiful. I met a new tree the other day. Okay, here's one more thing. So I met a tree the other day, and then we'll stop. Then we'll stop, the Pleiadians are saying. So I walk my dog every morning now at the river, which I am in deep gratitude for this space. It's absolutely amazing. I've posted many pictures and videos of it before on my YouTube, on my Instagram. And finally, though, here's what I did. So going with the flow more, because in the video, that the card reading I'm going to post in a couple of days, I talked about, and I'm really studying the Tao Te Ching and reading Wayne Dyer's kind of interpretation of it. I forgot the name of the book, Wayne. What is it? Something like, I don't know, but he has spent a lot of time with Lao Tzu in channeling, and wrote his own version along with his take in modern interpretation of how the Tao Te Ching, you can use it in your modern life. And so I'm trying to incorporate more Taoism, which is more of a yin flow, like flow, just flowing. There is yang, but flowing through life and just letting things be and going with the flow. And every morning I take the dog, and I was like, let's do an experiment with this dog. But she's always like very territorial with me. Like somebody's like a mile away and she's already barking and acting crazy. And so I said, I'm just going to flow, and I'm going to just not really boundaries. It also is boundaries. Like, I'm not going to pay attention to what Mo over there is doing, what Joe over there is doing, because I get tuned in really quickly to people's energy. If somebody comes in, I'm like, doot, 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 and then I can get pulled in really quickly to their field, just based on, who we are, star seeds and earth angels. But I said, I'm just not going to do that. And my thing is, like, I'm just going to trust and verify. Like, trust. They know what they're doing. Everything's fine. If I need to be aware of them for whatever reason, which I shouldn't be, because based on the law of attraction, like, nobody should be coming around me that shouldn't be in my field for any particular reason. And then I just let the dog do her thing. I didn't worry about her leash getting caught on something, because I run her on, like, a really long leash. Like, I didn't worry about her leash. I just trusted that she was going to find her way around any stuck spots. And the walks have just become so much more enjoyable. Like, I'm able to I have her on a belt, like I have a leash around a belt so I don't have to hold it. And I just, like, wander and I let her do her thing. And yeah, every now and then she gets stuck and I go help her out of her little predicament. And we keep moving. And I'm like, I'm not, like, worried. I'm not tied up in all of that. And I can let my mind wander more. And then I met this little tree that I pass every single time that we're walking, and I was like, oh my God, it just feels so good to stand under the canopy of this little tree. It's so cute. And then I finally was able to, like, find the tree face, which when I find the tree face, it means that, I'm tuned into the tree and they're tuned into me, and I see their little face, and it was just this cutest face, and it was, of course they're giving us their name, but it's just a name, but it's kind of like I don't know what the name was, but I was like, I just love standing here in your energy, and now I go stand under it. It's like a cypress tree, like a southern version of a Christmas tree, but he's just tall enough to where you can stand under the whole canopy of him, and it's right above your head. And so I was like, oh, this is so fun. So I just did that, and I was like, now every morning I go by and I talk to this tree, and I'm like, oh, I just want to stand here. It's like so peaceful to stand there. So let yourself have those moments. Allow yourself to flow more. And I expect, and Wayne Dyer and I have been spirit guide buddies for quite a while now. He's been part of my team helping me with my creative work. So I would expect, now that we're focused on Lao Tzu and Taoism, I would expect more of those kind of Taoist principles to start working their way into our conversations here. Because the Pleiadians are like, yep, that's all good. They don't care. They're like, we're everywhere. We're in everything too. So I think, let me check in, see if there's anything else they want us to know. No. So they're saying we finished a long time ago. So just like last time when we said, well, the Pleiadians were in the bird that we saw and the Shinkarharkita. Take a deep breath. Okay. That was a final little activation for you. And love is everywhere. And so when you can't see your way forward, you've got to bring yourself into the now and bring yourself into the flow and look for all the juicy goodness around you. So that is all I want to share. That is all we want to share. We are complete. And we thank you so much for tuning in. And we will see you again next time. Take care.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. It has been brought to you by the Bringers of the Light, an etheric group of higher light beings focused on service to Gaia, humanity, and the self as it pertains to the spiritual journey. So they are here to support you on your path to love and to working with others. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care.